This is a video I wasn't expecting to make, and especially a video so soon. But March 8th might be one of like the worst days of being a Seahawks fan since the Super Bowl 49 loss against the Patriots. Yesterday was crazy. In the very beginning of the day, some other players are being tagged. We had some trades, and all of a sudden I saw, oh, Russell Wilson's been traded, and I saw that on Instagram. And I have been seeing so many parody pictures and posts about Russell Wilson being traded that when I originally saw that, I was like, "There's no way." And then I looked at it, was posted from the actual NFL Instagram account, and I was almost, it was more just shocked more than anything else. And I told some people, I was like, it felt like a dream, honestly. I was like, there's no way we're trading Wilson. I mean, look at everything we've done. He's going to go into a second year with Shane Waldron as offensive coordinator. The offense is really going to get going this year. Blah blah blah. I was like, there's no way. Because I thought if Russell Wilson was going to get traded, it was going to be after this next year, if anything. And then Bobby Wagner getting released later on in the day, around like, I think I got that news around like 5:30, 6 p.m. It was just the whole day in general. I was glad to go to sleep last night because I was like, dude, this day sucks as a Seahawks fan. But this video is really just dedicated more towards Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is my favorite athlete of all time, and he quickly became that way. When he was originally drafted and everything, I remember thinking to myself, hey, why are the Seahawks taking a quarterback when we just paid Matt Flynn all this money? I mean, I'm not like a huge college football fan, so I didn't really know even who Russell Wilson was at the time. I just, we drafted him out of Wisconsin, cool, whatever. And then I remember watching him in the preseason in 2012, and I was like, this guy's really good. And then after the end of the third preseason game, Pete Carroll named him the starter. And ever since then, Russell Wilson's he's been awesome. His optimism really just seemed to kind of rally a bunch of Seahawks fans around. It seemed to rally the team around. He had this great spirit to him, always visiting Children's Hospital and everything. He just seemed like a really genuinely nice person. That's one of the biggest reasons he became one of my favorite athletes, as well as the fact that he was a really great football player. And the fact that after every interview he would sit there and be like, "Go Hawks!" I mean, then the rest of the city started saying, "Go Hawks!" Because if you remember before 2012, the diehard Seahawks fans were always there, right? But when Russell Wilson came, and then when the Seahawks got their whole new revamped jerseys and everything, when we really became good again after a few bad years there in 2012, it was like a whole nother section of Washington State and a lot of other people who may have been Seahawks fans in the past and maybe fell off a little bit started to come back on. Like, I remember wearing a Seahawks shirt my junior year of high school, which was the 2011 season when Tavares Jackson was our quarterback, and I remember being shat on because they're like, "Oh, dude, you're a Seahawks fan? They suck." And they're like, "Oh, it's all about the Sounders, man." It's just like, oh, okay. Those same people the year later, I think it was around our bye week in 2012 when the Seahawks had a 6-4 record heading into the bye. I saw them walking around school wearing Seahawks jerseys, and it just goes to show you that like a player like Russell Wilson, and then just like what he essentially kind of meant for this team and everybody else watching. Because yes, they're wearing Seahawks jerseys because the Seahawks were good that year, but at the same time, so many people not only were they just wearing fan jerseys, they were wearing Russell Wilson jerseys, and that was like the thing, and everybody was like, it's all about Wilson, man. We got Russell Wilson, we got our quarterback, and everybody was saying this when he was a rookie, and I remember going into the second year, when Russell Wilson's second year, and we all knew because after we lost against the Falcons, the divisional round. Russell Wilson's rookie year, we all knew the next year we were going to the Super Bowl. Like, just that offseason, before even free agency began, before we signed Cliff Averill or Michael Bennett, we all knew. And a lot of that had to do with Wilson. I mean, a lot of that was the defense, too. All right, but I'm talking about the optimism as Seahawks fans. That we looked towards Russell Wilson, and we're like, we have our quarterback. We paired Russell Wilson with Marshawn Lynch and our great defense we have, and then we went out and got pass rushers. It's like, you sat there as a Seahawks fan, and you just knew. You sat there, and you're just like, we have this. And it was just that feeling that Russell Wilson gave you as a player and as a person that we can trust in him. And even if we're down big or by a couple touchdowns, we're always still in the game. That's why I've never turned off a Seahawks game when Russell Wilson has been the quarterback of the Seahawks, because I've always felt like they somewhat have a chance, and they usually always do. I mean, you think of the Green Bay Packers playoff game a few years ago. Seattle's down by, I forget the exact score, but it had been down by like 3 touchdowns by halftime. And at the end, we only lost by a touchdown. But Russell Wilson rallied us back and really kept us in that game. And as a Seahawks fan, you knew that was going to happen because you knew you could trust in Russell Wilson. And it was just one of those special things. And I just want to thank Russell for everything he's done, whether it's been going to Children's Hospital every Tuesday, bringing us a bunch of wins on Sundays, just a straight optimism. Because Russell Wilson, I feel like, really changed the city of Seattle as far as just the optimism itself goes, and really just Seahawks fans in general. Because when I think of, I've had season tickets. My parents had season tickets, and I would go to the games with them and everything. We started having them in 2009. And when I think of the years 2009, 2010, 2011, the 3 years we had those season tickets before 2012, yes, the stadium was packed, but it was like a different vibe. It's like it was packed, but we were all kind of there. We were kind of a wishy-washy team. We didn't know what was going to happen. We were all that kind of there to have fun, but also root for our Seahawks to win. And then when Russell came, it became like this whole. It was like this whole new energy was brought in. It's like no matter what, I mean, we got it. I felt that way with the Packers playoff game, not the one a few years ago, but the one that sent us to the Super Bowl 49 against the Patriots, where we were terrible. Like basically all the first 3 quarters of that game, basically even the fourth quarter until like midway through the fourth quarter. Or honestly, really only until like the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. Then I started rallying back there. But Russell Wilson, he gave you that energy. He gave you that optimism that, you know what, I got this. Everything's going to be all right. And, I mean, listen, if there are any Denver Broncos fans watching this, you guys got yourself a hell of a quarterback. And not just a hell of a quarterback, but a hell of a person. And I'm always going to root for Russell Wilson. The only time I'll root against him is, well, this season we're going to be playing the Broncos. I hope Russell Wilson has a good game, but I hope we beat the Broncos. And unless the Seahawks are playing them in the Super Bowl, I mean, I'll always be rooting for Russell Wilson because he has meant so much to me, and he's meant so much to Seattle as a team. And as stunned as I was yesterday, it's kind of one of those things where it felt at some point it just felt like this was going to come, because the last few years it's one of those things where wherever there's smoke, there's fire. So when you hear these rumors that, oh, are the Seahawks going to trade him or are they not, and it's all been played out by the media, there's got to be some truth to something, right? And then it's like yesterday was just like ripping off the Band-Aid with both Wilson and Wagner officially gone now. But, I mean, Russell Wilson, and if Seahawks fans watching this, we all know how special he's been to this team. Yes, there's been some plays that he's made, especially maybe the last few seasons, where he's kind of fallen off a little bit. I'm not going to. Some people are saying falling off a cliff. I don't think he's fallen off a cliff. He's just, his play's fallen a little bit. I think part of that is just how the offense has kind of been run, though. But he's a tremendous guy, and I'm sad to see him go just because of what he has brought to this team. And it's basically a whole new Seahawks team now. Nobody is left from the Super Bowls that we went to, since Wagner and Wilson are now gone. And I wish both of them luck. And I can't say enough about Russell Wilson. So any Denver Broncos fans watching, you guys really do got yourself one hell of a quarterback and one hell of a person. Treat him well. I'm looking forward to the future. In my opinion, it's one of those things where, and I said this before the offseason began, if we moved off of Russell, I would have liked to have also moved off of Pete and John, just to almost kind of wipe the slate completely clean. But obviously we didn't do that. We still have Pete Carroll and John Schneider as our head coach, and while I'm not in love with that idea, there's nothing I can do about it. So it's one of those things where you just kind of got to hope for the best, and hopefully Seattle can still compete somewhat this season. But listen, we got some good draft capital. I'm expecting us to maybe by 2024 start making some noise. But once again, Russell Wilson, I'd just like to thank you for your time in Seattle, and I wish you nothing but the best.